Alrighty guys, how are we doing? It's been a whole week. It is your boy David once again here working on the typing runner that we've been working on for the past few weeks, which is very cool. So what did we do last time? Last time we had animations going back and forth. We had our player able to move. We fixed up a couple of things regarding the movement and the jumping and the physics and all that. We had double jump finally working. Yeah, the animations are looking good. What I'd like to do today is a little bit of scripting. One, I want to get the background to constantly loop, and it's just a matter of like creating a kind of conveyor belt effect where you have two different sprites or objects moving back and forth between each other. And I'd also like to start getting the actual typing mechanic done. So we have our player and we have our platform and all that. Eventually what we'll do is we'll randomly spawn some platforms here and there, or we can customize the level and make it ourselves. But first thing that I want to do is work on the looping backgrounds. We have looping movement, right? We have the speed moving to the left, right? We have anything that has the looping movement going to the left, which is awesome. That's how we make this sort of parallax effect, and we change the speed. If we want the... right, this is the platform. So platform is moving a bit faster than the background, right? We did that intentionally. So what I want to do is add to this looping movement, because looping implies that we are going to loop. Right, so let's open this script up. We're also going to work on, once we finish this up, if we finish it in time, I also want to work on the text typing effect, where a text comes up on the screen, you type it out, and then sort of change the color or change some effect of each of the letters that you type out. And once you complete the word, it completely changes into, what's a color for victory? Green or gold or something? Maybe we can do gold, right? And if you get it wrong, then it resets back. And that'll add to some kind of a score variable or something, you know. So yeah, that's the plan for today. How are we all doing? How are people feeling lately? I hope you're doing well. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. Happy Monday, by the way. Yeah, hope you guys get to go outside, at least by me. It's pretty nice. But it was pretty stormy this weekend, so not too much hiking going on, unfortunately. This might take some time. Yeah, you don't say, Visual Studio. Well, we can wait for a bit. So the idea that we're going to be employing here is when a certain game object within this background reaches some X position, we're just going to move it back to the original spot of this second background sprite here. Okay, so we are opening up shop. Right, end of the week, end of the weekend, I should say, and the beginning of a new day. That's how I look at it. But not the beginning of us being able to use the project just yet. Anyway, gotta wait just a bit longer, but that's alright. We can talk about anything, like our favorite games, or if we went hiking this weekend, or you know what I do actually with a lot of my students is whenever I ask them how their week went or how they're doing, I always get good or it's okay or it's decent. I always ask them to think of a different adjective. Sometimes they go out and they just look up a new adjective that they've never heard of before. They look up synonyms for words and they say, oh, it was this. So I say, okay, great. Well, at least you've learned a new word and you are able to better express yourself. Really important to have a good command of language. Okay, great. So this thing opened, and we don't have much in here, right? Yeah, we're really just moving things around. So let's fix that. So what I'd like to do is, okay, right. So here's what I think we're gonna want to do. We're gonna want to give. We're gonna want to create 2 game objects within each of these like looping objects. So let's say, well, I guess is the floor looping? The floor. I don't know if the floor is looping. Floor. Oh, that's the wall. Okay, where's the floor? Floor is not looping. Okay, at least not yet. Right? The floor should be looping, I think. We should add the looping behavior. And okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to say for each of these looping objects, if a child game object reaches a certain X position, then reaches, well, let's say the X position of a certain empty game object. So let's say we create for, maybe the floor is a bit complex. Let's start with the background. Background, we're going to make 2 empty game objects, 1 and then 2, and we're going to call this one destination X, and we're going to call this one original X, something like that. Maybe we can call this you know what, that's fine. So this is the destination. This is where they're eventually going to end up on the left side of the screen, and then the other one is going to be where they are transferred or transported to. When they reach this spot here. So okay, so we have these 2 objects. Let's see if we can find them in our scene. Hello? Hello? Anybody here? Where can I... Am I hitting... Ah, hitting the wrong button. Okay. So right now, if I were to play this, I don't think we're going to see a little sliver. Oh, we're not. Okay, cool. So I guess I wonder, I'll just add a sprite to this for the time being, just to see where it is, and I can always turn this off if I want to. I'm just going to add a circle. Ooh, that's a nice circle. Look at that. Let's change the sorting layer. Might as well. Wow, let's bring the scale down. That's ginormous. 0.25. Lovely. And then we can always just turn this off if need be. Okay, right, so let's say if it reaches here, maybe. So we have this background, and then we have this background over here. So at some point, let's say, well, it's kind of, oh, because the Z is off. Very interesting. Did I do that on purpose? I very well may have. Oh yeah. Big difference there, huh? Yep. Okay. So now we can move these off a bit. To the right, and we still won't right. Okay. So that was definitely a problem, but no longer an issue, which is awesome. So I just wanted to get rid of that little sliver that was on the left here. You always want to be sure when you're working in 2D to check the Z position for any and all objects. If you want one to be at the same scale in the camera as you see it in the scene view, then you're going to want the Z to be at 0. Which you can always change as well. So, we have this destination, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Yep, Rooney. I'm gonna make this one. What should I make it? Should I make it a gumdrop? Ooh, this guy looks angry. Yep. Okay. And we will. It's like a thwomp. Look at that. It's adorable, isn't it? Okay. And where do I want it? I want it. Where's this guy? This guy is at 29. What's the difference here? 28.53. Do I even have a system here? What's going on here? Oh, these are out of order. Oh god, that's gonna kill me. Yep, okay. I'm just gonna do that really quick, because that's gonna bother me immensely. If I put, and I'm gonna change this to 25.99. Lovely. I think maybe I just guesstimated, so okay, I can do that here as well. Why not? Maybe I can actually give it the floor. Oh, do you know what? No, that's probably not going to work. This is moving the entire floor, so that's not exactly what we want. We actually want right. We actually want to make okay. Sorry, what I'm thinking of, I'm just using a lot of like affirmation sounds and noises and phrases. But what's going to happen is the destination and the origin are both going to move in the same direction. And I realize I'm still working on the floor. We're not doing the floor, David. We're not doing the floor. Get it together. Let's say we get to here. Okay. Working in the background. So when the background moves, right, when this thing loops, it's literally moving the entire object here, not just these guys, right? That's what we're saying. Just transform, translate this entire object that the script is attached to. So that means the destination and the origin are going to be moving this way as well. So it's really not going to save this position at all. So what we can do is create empty object and put this in there. And actually, before I do that, probably want to center it. And where'd you go? There you are. Okay, we'll go right here, sure. And towards the left in the middle, right? Alright, maybe we'll just set the Y to, oh, nope, just kidding. What's the Y in these guys? Or what's the Y in this guy, I should say? 5.63. Okay, so I'll do that then. 5.63. That's the middle, I guess. Cool. And let's make the X 0. Fine. Do 4.3. Cool. And then I'm gonna make this object, right? This is just containing this entire object here. So now when this object moves, well, I actually want to make the origin X and the destination X children of this object out here, because this object is not going to move. It's just going to contain this entire sort of behavior here, this looping background. So this the effect is that this is not going to, wow, that's a really large number. These two are not going to move, but the backgrounds will, so that's exactly what we want. Okay, now that we have things in order for this guy, we're going to be looping the backgrounds, and once the background reaches, this sprite reaches, let's say around here, what is this position here? So that would mean that this guy is here. Oops. Once you get around there, yeah, okay. Then he's gonna come back around to here. Gonna undo a lot of that stuff. So let's say, what's the X position right now of this guy? That's the local X. So we can change that to, I think to, oh, you know what? Yeah, we can go to debug mode. We can see, I think we can see the global. Oh, excuse me, maybe not. I could have sworn you were able to. There is a way, I'm sure. I just don't know how to do it in the inspector. You can always just get the location through the script. Okay. So what was that position then? That would be, well, I guess technically it's starting off right about here. So once it reaches the edge of this platform, which is, what is that? I'm just gonna copy that into here. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm also realizing, right. So we actually don't want looping movement to be on this guy. We want it to be on the backgrounds here. Okay. Let's copy. Just disable this for now, just in case we want to put it back. And let's paste component as new. Right. Let's just see that that works. Cool. Okay, right. So now once this guy reaches a certain position, we want him to go back to the origin. Okay, yeah, so let's just add that in really quick. Let's make a... Oh, wow. Not keeping up with me, huh? Fingers are just too fast. Void, reset, position. Oh dear, yeah, this thing is really not moving too quickly. Well, if you guys see a lag, that's probably why. It's lagging on my end as well. And there's an update, they tell me, so I might do that after this session. So we have reset position. So we have start position, right? We have an end position. We have these two. We probably want to add these to our serialized fields. I don't know if it applies to all variables if we separate them by commas. Let's take a gander. Maybe, possibly. Maybe not. Okay, so we have to do that individually for each of these, which is fine. Let's just do a few Control Z's. Boom, boop, boop. Cool. Just want these exposed in the inspector. Get some exposure. Right, so we have a starting X position and an end X position. So the starting X, we'll just set it to this number for right now, and the end X is gonna be, well, at one point this guy is going to reach this position here. So let's Control click both of these guys, move them all the way over, and let's see, I don't know, hang on. So what was this guy's position? This guy's position was negative 0.23. Oh, I'm looking at the Y, not the X. Whoops. Okay. So this guy's position is 2.26. Okay. So if I move this over a bit, see what this is. 2.26. Nope. Let's move it over just a bit more. What is it now? 3. That can't be right. Oh, that's more like it. Okay, right. And then let's just move it over just a teensy weensy bit. Take a look. All right, that's pretty good, I'd say. Once it reaches this position, we know that we still have a bit of room left over here. And then we're gonna reset the position back to wherever this guy was. So let's just remember this. Let's write this down somewhere. Let's do a notepad. We love notepads for this very reason. Okay, so we have 2.26 starting on the left, and then the other guy, well, what's this guy now? This guy is at negative, let's just say negative 23, or I guess reset position. It's left. Reset position is negative 23. Let's say 0.1, and only doing that because this guy is technically, yeah, no, it's a bit too far. Well, that's alright. Off a bit. Oh, do you know what? I didn't have both of these selected. Okay, and this is a bit tedious, but that's okay. Well, we'll just eyeball it, I guess, at this point. Okay. So negative 23.1, let's say. Maybe negative 23 point. Yeah, 23 point. That's fine. So this guy was original, this second background. Do a lot of Control Z's here. The second background was at 27.56. So start Sprites. It's 27.56. So I'm going to set this guy, this original X, at 27.56. Do you know what? Right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this first. I'm going to set it to 27.56, and it's going to save its global position. So now I can just move it back here, and that's okay. 38.01, or just a solid 38. Why not? Okay. Now we have our destination, which is going to be negative 23.1. Right, we have to do this first. So this should be negative 23.1. Should be right there. Cool. Now I can take it back out so it doesn't move with the background, even though I guess it won't technically either way. Yeah, at this point, if it's not looping, that's fine. Right, so these background sprites are going to have a starting position, and let's add in, where did my start bar go? Am I just covering? Oh, I'm covering it. Oh, I'm losing my mind here. Okay, so let's have, instead of serialized float, we'll have a serialized game object, or maybe a serialized transform. Start, position, and then a serialized form reset position. Maybe we'll do start transform, start position. That's, you know what, that's fine. Okay. So now we're going to pass those into the inspector. Right, so the destination is going to be our reset, and the original is going to be that guy. And this is going to apply to any object that has the... Oh, hang on. I did that wrong. Did I do that wrong? Am I doing this wrong? I can't be doing this wrong. The destination is the one on the left. Yeah, okay. So that's the reset position. Right. Okay, I'm not doing this wrong. I'm just crazy. Aren't we all? So when the X of this object reaches if transform.local position.x less than or equal to, and in start I'm just going to say x position equals start position dot transform dot local position dot x. Oh no, do you know what? No, I don't want to do local position. I just want to do position. Same with this. I guess it doesn't technically matter. This is what happens to me. Every time I do any sort of scripting, it's always like, maybe I should do it, but maybe not. I have like 3 different people talking to each other in my head. I have like a meeting going on. I should have a sign hanging off my nose that says, quiet, we're in a meeting. So if the x is less than starts x position, then we are going to go to the end x position. Right, and then end x position equals resets. Oh, I don't need to do that. It's already a transform. Local position dot x. Lovely. Then if it's less than the x position, then we're just going to transform dot local position equals new vector 3. We could just do vector 2, doesn't really matter. Starts x position transform dot local position dot y. and then it'll just add in the Z afterwards. So if we reach the threshold, then we're going to go back to the beginning. And hopefully it lines up properly, but we do want to make sure that this sprite is off the screen when we switch it, otherwise it's going to look kind of janky. Let's just double check that. If this reaches negative 23.1, is that completely off? Oh, it is. Lovely. Ah, well, that's a happy accident. I mean, totally on purpose. Totally 100% meant to do that. Cool. And I just have these as variables. I could just say, you know, start x position dot local position dot y or all that, right? But I just save these as variables in case I need to use them later. And if I don't, then I'll go back and I'll just use the reset position, start position, and reference those variables. Okay. So actually, I wanted to put this in this function here. Let's say reset position. Okay, cool. Let's try that out. Let's just try it out. This should apply to both of these sprites. We have the original X and the destination. Okay, so let's try it out. And, oh, do you know what? It's probably not, it's not going to like doing that for the platform because it doesn't have a transform. Right. Okay. I'll just say, for the time being, if start pause and reset pause, right? If they exist, if they are not null, then do this. Otherwise, just do your thing. Again, just for the time being, just to test it out, and then we'll add the same thing to the platform. I do want to check this out to see that everything is hunky-dory. Maybe I should make this a bit faster. But just for testing purposes, I want to see... Oh! Variable start pause of looping movement not been assigned. Yeah, okay. Alright. Let's go back. Ooh, so there's a bit of a... oh no. Bit of a gap, but that's alright. Let's maybe... I think I just wasn't exact in my positioning, so maybe let's move this... Maybe let's change this guy to just negative 23 and leave it at that. Let's try it out. So I'm moving that just a bit, like 0.1 to the right, so that it reaches the edge a bit sooner and comes back a bit sooner, so there isn't as much of a gap. I'm certain that we'll be able to detect some kind of a gap or overlap with something. Yeah, there it is. It's the little... Oh, it's the smallest. If you're really paying attention, you'll notice. Otherwise, it could just be a little jagged in the mountain, right? Add some texture to it. Not all mountains are flat. In fact, no mountains are flat. I shouldn't say that. There are probably a couple that have just been, like, leveled. Okay, cool. So that's working out dandy. So we can just take a look at it in the scene really quickly. So this sprite is moving along, moseying on down, and eventually it's going to reach this position, and bada bing, bada boom, right over here, and it loops perfectly well. Awesome. So now we really don't have to move any of these objects here, and let's do the same for the platform, I suppose, for the time being. So this actually should be put inside of, because this is the object that's moving, we should put this inside of another object. And at this point, I don't think we really need to do that here, but because this object is containing all of these sprites, well, not this one, but these sprites here, we are going to, oh, no, pardon me, excuse me, thank you, yep, we're going to go over here, and we're just going to make this, I'll call this platform sprites, and I'll call this platform. Okay, so this is going to have the looping movement, and what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to eventually want a lot of different platforms, so I'm going to call this one, like, maybe winter platform, and I'm going to make this a prefab, so that I can make more of these if I want to. Oh, we actually can delete that. Winter prefab. Winter platform, prefab. Okay. So, right, so this is saying unassign reference, right? It's not going to like that. And you'll notice that the symbol here changes. So now I can make as many of these as I want, and they'll all end up being the same. I don't have to like duplicate it and change different things about all of them. For example, if I wanted to, I don't know, change the sprite in all of these, I could actually just go into open the prefab here and then change all of these. And if I have, let's say, 3 or 4 of these platforms out here, then it'll change those sprites for all of them, which is very nice. It's very nice that Unity does that for us. Okay, so now we have this winter platform, and I'm actually going to open up prefab here so that we can work on this guy's origin and destination. Okay, right. So we know that the destination and the origin are going to be different for each platform, but what I do know is when this Sprites object moves off screen, at some point it's going to move off screen. Let's say when it reaches, what's the threshold? When it reaches negative 22.5. Okay, sure. Maximize all players. Let's do that. Let's see how this looks maximized. Let's pause it. Ah, okay, right. So that's a problem. Yeah, so we're gonna actually just take the background and move it. I like to move it. Let's run it and see if it still gives us grief. Yep, still gives us grief. Oh, it actually moved the platform. And let's move this back on over here. Yeah, you know, let's move it just a teensy-weensy bit more background, that is, to the left. Okay, so we have our sprites, and let's add in, oh, you know what, let's do it here. Create empty, and I'll rename this nation X, right, origin X. And again, these are going to be off screen, so I can give these sprites just if I want to. Right. Do that. So I'll make this one. I want to make it water. No, I'll make it. I want this one to be happy. I don't know why. Or we can make it a tree. Oh, I love trees. I especially love square trees. I don't think I've ever seen one in real life before. But they are very exciting. Look at how exciting this square tree is. So I'm going to move this over in here. And again, I don't want this to move with my sprites object, otherwise we're never going to reach it. So I'll say, what was it, negative 20.5, negative 22.5, is that what it was? Something like that. Negative 22.5. Oh, that's going to be wrong now. Oh, no, it's not. It's still fine, I think. Oh, do you know what? Yeah, because we don't see it in full screen. So let's take a look. Let's pause it. Ah, yeah, okay, so it's still off. And, okay, so that's fine. So platform, sprites, let's say maybe a bit more then. Move it more to, let's say over here, way off, right? And destination should be at the same place, which is negative 24.3. Sure. Let's do negative 24.3. Wonderful. Whoa. Okay. I should probably make these more obvious sprites. Maybe I can actually make this the background. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll just do that. I'll make this the winter tree. Snow, maybe? What's the name of the... Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way then. Oh, okay, maybe it doesn't have a name then? Oh. Grass. Right, as you do. Okay, and then I'll make this, I'll also make, that's not what I wanted. Right, let's do background here as well. Okay, so this is going to be the destination X and the original X. Add a sprite component and grass. We'll do, that's fine, sure, wonderful, lovely. 0.25, 0.25. I want it to be slightly off. So where's this going to reset? Let's say, let's move this to the foreground. Maybe we can just move it to the midground. We can move all of these to the midground. I've been moving it to the foreground, so I don't think it matters. We'll move it. It's over here. Sure. What is this? Let's make it 38. Excuse me. Okay. Cool. We have our original there, and then we have that as the child of the winter platform. And what I want to do is actually apply this to the prefab. And oh, do you know what? I have to write, that's what it was, yeah. Right click, added game object, apply to prefab, same thing here, apply to prefab. Cool. And maybe I want to put these in different objects, like in separate objects altogether, just because these really aren't ever going to change. Maybe I want to move this. The background, we're not really going to have too many different backgrounds. We can actually remove this component as well. But for the time being, we'll leave it in here for now because we only have one platform. We'll eventually change it. I just want to see that it all works. So this platform's sprite needs to be on screen. We want to see this bad boy. Cool. So that's going to move, and this is going to apply. We need the destination X to be the reset position, and we need the original X, oops, to be the start position. Yeah, cool. We can close this, don't save, don't need to. So now we have all the numbers that we need. We can run that. And let's just, oh, God, that's painful. The floor. I just want to move it, honestly. Let's just move it. Off over here. Yeah, okay. That's a bit better anyway. Let's see that it works at least. Yes! Hooray! So now we have looping platform, looping background. Let's do the same thing for looping floor. Might as well. So the floor, this is going to be all the floor sprites, right? Sprites. You're going to find that I mock a lot of spelling errors that I make. Because it just infuriates me. I don't know why. It's something in my being. It just doesn't fly. Doesn't fly with me. So I'm going to make a new object for this guy. This is going to be the floor. And this is going to contain this object that's going to have the looping movement. And this should also be a speed of 3. We should have a start position. So I'm going to create 2 empties in here. We'll call this one destination X and original X. Okay, so destination for the floor. We should probably have 2 of these, but yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's just do that. Let's duplicate this There it is. And let's move this buddy boy over here. Just make sure they're all in line. It's lovely. So what is this position? 30 point. I should say 30.4. It's a bit too far off because you'll be able to see that there's like not much of an overlap here. Or there is an overlap. You'll immediately notice it. It's not exactly what we want. So let's fix that. Okay. Yeah. All right. So 30.4 then. That's a nice even number. We love even numbers. We love them. They are our friends, not food. That looks fine. That looks, unless you're really looking, it should be fine. So okay, destination. Let's just add a sprite. Nope, wrong one. Renderer. Get rid of that. And let's add. What was it called? It was called grass. It was just grass, right? Yeah. Cool. Maybe let's just. We're always just putting it in the foreground, are we? Why not? Let's just put it in the foreground. I always do that. Whoa! Okay. So this guy, at some point, is going to reach the edge of his life. It's pretty dark. And this guy is going to come in and help reincarnate this floor over here. Right. Okay, so that's where that is. So we actually want this to be a bit further out. Oh, not this one. No. We want this one to be out. You know what? Actually, I'm just gonna make. No, I don't have to make this a prefab. I'm gonna make these two. This whole thing a prefab at some point. So at what point does this come off the screen is the question. This comes off the screen at around, let's say, sure, 29, negative 29. How does that look? How about let's move this to the left just a bit so we can land on something. When we play this in full screen. Oh, yes, we still see a bit of it. Let's maybe make it 30. And let's run it, see if it's still off screen. Nope. Negative 31 it is. Oh, hello. Speaking, thank you. You rang. Okay. That's a bit better. So negative 31 is the magic number. Not an even number, odd number, but it still doesn't have any decimals. So I'll take it. So we have this guy who going to end up around here. Alright, so we know that negative 31 is the magic number. Alright, you know what? We'll worry about this later. Let us see. These two are going to be looping. Okay, so let's try that out. So this should be at negative 31 then. Nope, that's entirely wrong. Hang on. Oh, because it's a clever. Negative 31, right? Cool. That's the destination, and the original origin, Origx, the Orange X. This guy or gal should be, let's give them sprite renderer first. Let's make sure that we know which object this is for. Let's bring the, not 6, 0.25. 0.26 is blasphemy. Let's move this back to change the sorting layer. Move it over to, well, where's this object when this guy over here? Okay. Let's maybe it's kind of weird actually. Alright, I'm not gonna worry about the Y for right now. Again, if you're really looking, you can tell. Not too big a deal though. Okay, so this is negative 0.57. And that's how we're going to leave it. Not an even number, but that's okay. So that's where the, or rather, that's where this thing is going to start when this floor has to reset their position. So we want this to be right about here. Let's say 29.5. 29.8. Let's try that out. And again, it's not perfect. We could always do this programmatically if we needed to. So let's move these floor sprites back to where they once came. Back from whence he came. Let's go here. Where was it? Did it start off here? Is this off screen? I can't tell. Yep, okay. So now we have to add in those transforms, destination, origin, and oh, I had these both selected, so that's lovely. Yep, so I can do that. That will do. And let's just test it out. Cool. There's a bit of a gap here, which I don't necessarily like. We can just have these floors extend, so we should never see any kind of a gap in between the floors, which I haven't seen yet. I see a tiny little ooh that's gonna bother me. You guys might not be able to see that, but I definitely see it, and it is intensely bothering me. So let's make this 29.7. Ooh, it should still be off screen. Okay, yeah, cool. So that should be fine. But we know that it is resetting, so it's just going to constantly loop. So now we have all of these looping positions, which is awesome. I'm going to say plat, and then floor, oh, no, floor, I'm actually going to call this set, I'll call this plat, reset, and I'll call, what is it, this one, BG reset, ooh, yeah, no, reset X. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, now that I have all these positions in place, I know that the floor and the background, at least, are not going to change, right? Those are just going to constantly loop. We want the floor to look seamless, and we want it to constantly loop just like the background. Let's just call it looping markers. And I'm just going to take these objects, move them into this object, just to keep things organized. I hope you guys like the music, by the way. It's my first choice for sure. I'm loving the acoustic vibe that's happening right now. I feel so close to nature, but with all these mountains and clouds in the background. So we still have a bit of time to get started, at least, on the text behavior. So let's do that. Let's add in. Well, do you know what we have to do first? Unity does come with some text object in their UI, but what I'd rather do is use a package called Text Mesh Pro. It just gives you more capability, more options when it comes to changing the text, different particular letters, fonts, things like that, which it just really expedites the process. So let's look for, is it just called TM Pro? Yeah, Text Mesh Pro, and let's install that. So I'm gonna have a word object. And then inside of that word object, I'm going to have all the different letters of my word. And from there, I'm just going to change the color of each of those letters if I type that particular key. And the word has to be within the radius of the player. So it's got to be, the player has to be close enough to the word that you can't just start typing and a word will suddenly start, you'll start suddenly progressing through one word. Especially because when we have multiple words on the screen and you try typing and they both start with the same letter, but you don't want to go for that one particularly. You don't want to go for oh, it is, okay. You don't want to go for a particular word, you want to go for the other one. So it's just better to use a radius in that case. Okay, cool, so we installed it, and we should have package in here okay, Text Mesh Pro, right, cool. So we have package scripts and all that, tests, right. Okay, so what we're essentially able to do now is add a Text Mesh Pro component, or an object rather. So let's see. Oh, no, right, these are just tests. So let's do that then. Let's create, let's say this is a word. Oh, there we go, okay. And then Text Mesh Pro Text. That's what we want. And it says, appears to be the first time you access it. We need to add resources that are essential for using it. We will import those. Gotta do what the big man says sometimes, you know? Just gotta go with the flow, follow along. Okay, yeah, I don't really need those. So now we have a mesh renderer here, and we have the Text Mesh Pro. Okay, cool. So if you guys, you might not be able to see right now, but oh, you can actually. You can see through the background, thankfully. So I'm actually gonna move. Oh no, oops. Hang on. Let me move this out of the way here. Right. So we can see that we have this word here, this text. I'm just gonna move this up here. So what we're able to do is change anything from the font style to the color to the alignment, wrapping, right? How much spacing might be in between each color and each letter. Things like, well, softness, even the face of the font. Whole bunch of different settings, which is just nicer, especially when it comes to like I don't want to say a text-based game, but a keyboard input-based game where you're typing things out. You kind of want the words to look nice. So okay, let's make a new script. Let's add it to our word. I don't know. Let's just call it text behavior for the time being. Text behavior. New script. Yup. Create and add, please. And I just have some notes that I took on my phone here. So we need the radius. We need the original color, the color that displays how many letters have been typed so far, and the color of the completed word. And hopefully it adds. Oh, it does. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's just open this up then. Oh, and I do want to move this into my scripts folder. That's for sure. We're also going to need a few things to let us know, or a few pieces of data to let us know if we're in the middle of typing a word, if we've, messed up a word, and if we've completed a word. So, okay, right. So first thing we need is, why didn't it open? Wise man say, yeah, okay, cool. So we have player movements, PM, and I'm just going to do this right now, equals find object of type player movement, and this is going to get me the game object. What I want is the player movements component. of that object. So there's only one object, which is our player that has a player movement script on it. So it's going to find that object, it's going to get me that component. The reason why I want to do this is so that I can get its position. I think that's the only reason anyway. Right, okay. So this word, or perhaps maybe I should call this a letter. No, do you know what? Yeah, I'll make a new one called letter. And I'm going to make it a prefab. Letter. And prefabs. I'm going to add a text mesh pro text component to it. I'm just going to leave it all blank for the time being, right? No text. Doesn't need any text. Let's make this a prefab. What else should we make a prefab? I think that should be fine for now. Let's open this up and let's just make it a tad smaller. Oh, hang on. I definitely want this to at least be centered. Okay. Alright, so this is going to be, that's how big the letter is going to be. So let's say I want it to be centered. I want it to be vertically centered. Cool. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, okay, so that's going to do just fine. So that's the size. I think W is the largest, or the longest rather, letter, because it's got like 2 V's next to it. If I'm wrong, maybe it's M or something. No, I don't think. Yeah, I think it's still W. So that's a good reference for how wide we should make it. So let's save that. Thankfully, whenever we make a change, it automatically saves to the prefab, and then it changes that in the scene. So I'm actually going to want to reduce the scale a bit. I'll change it down to like 0.5 and 0.5. Okay, and hopefully that'll, yep, okay, cool. So we have our letter, and this will have text in it. You know, maybe the word doesn't even need any of these things. You just, yeah, okay, so we'll leave the text behavior for now. So this is going to be prefab, and so if we complete the word, then we're going to change the color. Otherwise, if we're in progress, we're going to change each letter to a certain color. So let's make those 3 first. We can get rid of this comment because we know exactly what we're doing. Let's say color, color, original color, what was it, progress color or something, letter color, and then final color. And we can field, private, let's just double check, see that shows up. I don't know if it does actually. Oh, it does. Huh. So I could have done that before. Alright, well, in any case, we have these 3 colors, and let's say we make the original color white, and we make the alpha 255. Sometimes if you don't see the color show up, it's because this alpha is at 0, which means that it's completely transparent, which is not exactly what we want. Let's make this like kind of gold color, like a bright, yeah, bright gold-ish. That's gold enough, right? Okay, cool. Thanks for the affirmation, guys. So yeah, I wish we had more time to work on this, but this is the beginning. So we'll need boolean or bool finished word. What else do we need? We need right. We need our prefab letter obj, and I'll just add in a few more. Right. We need number of completed letters. We need the key code. it's also important of which key we last hit. And right, we do need a, do we serialize that? No, we don't. Public string text. I could make this serialized as well. Might as well do that. Why not? No one else needs access to it. Doesn't really matter. And then we can just have a few methods that change that. And yeah, cool. Oh, we need the radius. Right. Float radius. We'll make that serialized as well. Oh, oops. Private serialized field. Cool. Alright, so this is the beginning of this text behavior. I wish we had more time to get into it, but we will just have to continue. Next week, we're going to work on this, and we're going to see how long that takes us. We're going to have to do some debugging. We're going to have to test it out. We're going to eventually add multiple words, but what we have so far is we have looping in our game, which is cool. I would like to work on some of that jittery... Oh, where did it go? Background disappeared on us, guys. Alright, well, we're going to have to fix that somehow. Oh, do you know what? I think it's because they might have lost the reference to... Nope. No, it did not. Well, whatever happened, we're going to figure it out next week. Alright, cool, guys. So... that's it on my end, and I will see you guys next week. Be sure to like and subscribe to the DAE's channel so that you can get more content like this. You can hit the notifications button as well if you want to know when we upload a new video. Leave any comments and join in the chat. You know, that's always fun. And yeah, otherwise I'll see you guys next week. Alright, see you guys.